All right. Hello, everyone. We are here for the Irish Championship 2025. This is going to be game 1 of a 4 Hanshan match between Conor. So, hang on. Conor Mullin, that's going to be starting as dealer. Martin Schleimer as south. Tramy as west. And Zhiyu as north. My name is Shinki, and I am here with Sparrowhawk. Welcome, Sparrowhawk. Thank you so much for being here today with me for the commentary.
For those that know me as Jokubas, I'm the previous winner of the Irish tournament in 2020.
All right. So they're just setting up things. Should be starting in a few seconds. I'm going to be setting left player as dealer. That should be good now. Mm-hmm. And it has begun. All right, best of luck to our 4 contestants. So yeah, Conor, being the current champion, is going to be defending his title against Martin, Tramy, and Zhiyu. And as a reminder, we're playing under EMA rules. EMA 2016, not EMA 2025, because there will be a new revision in a few months, but that's not in place yet. So for now, we're playing with the EMA rules 2016, the ones basically you guys should be all familiar with if you know about the EMA rules. If you do not, I can give you a quick rundown. We start with 30,000 points. Yes, we can see the Dora. Dora is 2 man. All right, so we start with 30,000 points. We do not end the game on busting. The game continues all the way till South 4 or until the timer runs out, and then we play one more round. And as additional rules, there are no abortive draws, no red Dora. All the normal stuff that you could find in the Mahjong game remains. So you have the Kandora, you have Uradora, you have all of that, of those rules. And that's about it for the quick rundown. Have I forgotten anything important that I might have not talked about?
No, I think that's everything.
All right, then we can start focusing on the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason we got player 4 stiller. I'm gonna update it. I think it might have been because we're currently having... oh, yeah, that's my bad. 2 man is Dora. There we go.
Yeah.
Yep, there we go.
Most of these hypos do not look great.
Yeah, the starting hands are pretty slow. Oh, Tramy has a pretty good hand though. It looked very... pretty decent. Zhiyu 2 away from Tempai as well.
Martin has 2 Dora in his hand. He might shift towards Tanyo with the 80 man shape at some point.
Conor has also 4 pairs. Could be heading towards a 7 pair hand. Chitoi. Tramy dropping the 6 pin here.
I suppose it's Sakigiri.
It could be something like that. And one call. And Martin cheese the 3 pin from Conor.
Yeah.
Being 2 away from Tayao with 2 Dora. That could be pretty expensive. Maybe especially
3. Akanashi.
Yeah, exactly. Without the red Dora, it's very difficult to make value without using the only 4 Dora that are in the game. So having 2 of them is already pretty huge in terms of average value in the round. So if you can make a quick hand with that, that's always going to be fruitful. Although his hand has 2 pairs and 2-3-4 shape that's called an Aryan Man, it's a bit difficult to complete, but okay. Tramy Yishanten 1 away from Tempai with what could look like a Tanyo Pinfu, maybe Ipeko. depending on the competition. Zhiyu also getting to 1 away. Ishanten with a pay ongo. That's his wind. A pretty good Ishanten at that. Kutsuki. Yeah, Kutsuki is pretty good.
If he draws anything around the 4M or the 6S,
Yep.
he'll be in tempe.
Tramy headless Ishanten. Zhiyu maybe switching his floaters. Nope. That's a Tsumogiri 5-pin.
Yeah.
Keeps the Arianmen and the Forso. Oh, Ishanten for Martin.
Shanten.
Martin
But
Ishanten.
it's a fairly decent Shanten.
Oh, that's a beautiful draw.
Yeah, it's very nice.
What's she going to do? Okay, 7-pin. Lots of acceptance around the Sozu and the Manzu. She gets tempo on any tile from 3 to 9 man, and on any Sozu from 3 to 9 as well, I believe.
Yes.
That's whopping 14 tiles of acceptance to get tempai. Actually, 2 to 9, actually, never mind. It's 15 tiles.
Yep.
I could be wrong, however. I think the 7 doesn't put her tempai. Tempai, Pin, Doraichi. So 1 Dora and Pei for Zhiyu waiting on 3 man. And Tempai as well for Conor. Pinfu, Dora, and Riichi. 1 4-man. So that's 5,800 guaranteed for Conor over here waiting on 1 4-man. Martin.
There are 2 1M south at the moment, but it's still a pretty ideal Tianmen.
Yeah, that's a good weight. That's good for Riichi. Tempai as well for Tramy. That could be a 369 Manzu weight. Also pretty interesting. Is he gonna chase and go Riichi as well?
It is only Riichi Pinfu, but it's still likely worthwhile.
There we go.
Hanashi.
Riichi. So 369 man versus 1 4-man versus Kanchan 3-man. Is he going to chase or is he going to fold? That could be a Mawashi as well if he drops maybe once and waits and see. That's what he does. Doesn't completely abandon the hand, but for now decides to toss his pair. 8-man, close but not quite. That's another state for Martin. Alright. Tramy, what does she draw? 6-pin. No Ipatsu for neither of those 2 players.
He gets back tempe immediately
Yeah.
by redrawing the 8-pin.
Amazing. Oh, Martin still attacks. Very brave move from Martin. Ishanten as well. 4-pin.
Yep.
And here back to tempai with a Kanchan 3-man. How long is he going to keep this tempai though? This is fine.
Yeah. Gambitsu. It's past the both players.
It's a Manzu fight. 1-4 versus 3-6-9 versus 3-man. Tsumo. There it is. Riichi Tsumo Pinfu.
If there are any Ura, it becomes fairly expensive.
Oh, we do not get to see the Ura. Maybe we should tell the players to show the Ura around their hands, so we can show it on the stream. Maybe you should tell them that, Simon, if possible. Okay, there we go. So the Ura, maybe under. Yeah, perfect. Perfect. So that's Riichi Tsumo Pinfu, 700, 1300s. With Conor calling Riichi, that's plus 37 for Tramy. So I'm gonna update the scores right now. With Alright, how's that look? Do the scores appear okay on the stream? It should be okay. Oh no, they've been reset. Oh, that's... Ah, right. That's because I think someone else is updating them and it overrides my my updating. So I'm just gonna... There we go, should be good now. All right. Wow, that's an interesting starting hand from Conor with the Haku Haku Hats Chun. That could be some Yakuman chasing, some dreams chasing over here. Let's see if he pulls the second Chun and maybe he goes for Daisangen. Big three dragons. However, Tramy is already Ishanten. That's a very quick hand with Diamen and Penchan shapes. That could be a Pinfu with Dora being Pe. That isn't gonna be very expensive, but a fast hand is still very good. Whoa! Haku draw from Conor.
Wow.
Now that allows to chase some dreams here. Don't you agree with me?
Yeah.
Martin might be looking for... Yeah, he's looking for 1-2-3 Sanshoku over here, dropping the 6-8 Kanshan early on. Tramy still Ishanten.
The Haku Uncle might mean that the other players don't suspect Daisangen as much.
Right.
Once a couple of the dragons get called.
That's going to be very interesting if he draws the Chun.
Yeah.
So as a reminder, as you could see on the stream, Conor is the current champion, and it's shown by the bracelet he's wearing right now. That's the Irish champion bracelet, and that's amazingly cool, I think. And that's going to be passed on to the next champion, the next Irish champion. But I believe it's really, really cool that it's shown on the stream on top of that in the championship. And that's a pawn from Conor. Hatsupon. Now hoping for Chundro next turn maybe. Martin still Ishanten for that Sanshoku. 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Maybe, just maybe, if he pulls a 9-pin, that could be Junshan as well.
Yeah.
And the Haku has been discarded. Of course, no count from Conor. That would be a bit sad to show. Oh, he's not chasing Daisangen after all. He drops it right away.
Wow.
None in the discards. That is interesting.
Perhaps he's still seeing Honitsu rather than Daisangen. He's playing a bit more realistically, I suppose.
I haven't noticed, but Tramy is already Tenpai, by the way. She doesn't have a Yaku. She's waiting on the Penchan or Kanshan, depending on how you see it. 3 So, no Yaku, and calls Riichi now. She's not waiting for upgrades. That could be maybe Ipeiko if she pulls a 4-7 man, or Tanya if she pulls like a 4 So. But she goes Riichi right away, waiting on the 3 So. For Riichi Nomi, 1,300 for now. Well, at least she's letting herself know that she is Tenpai to all the other players. This in itself can alter the playing incentives from the other players, even though your hand is cheap. So that could be worthwhile. Martin, Sumogiri low pin, that wasn't safe. 5 So would have allowed to have a very good weight for Tramy. That would have been a 1-4-3-6 So weight if she drops the 2. But no matter.
You can see it has a different effect on the various players. Conor immediately played a bit more defensively, breaking up a shape.
Right.
While Martin just Sumogiri.
Yeah, Martin is going all out, trying to complete that Sanshoku, 1-2-3 Sanshoku. Zhiyu once again Kutsuki Shanten, but will he drop the Dora for that? Or 8-pin? He decided to drop 8-pin. So he goes middle ground with that, keeps the Kutsuki on the 5-pin and Pe. Doesn't decide to drop Dora right away because that would be indeed a bit expensive. It's only 1 out, I believe. It's I believe Conor dropped it turn 1.
Yeah. And particularly in Akanashi, it's far more dangerous than usual.
Right.
You'll see Dora Tanki hands a lot more.
Tenpai
frequently, I think.
goes for it. Riichi waiting on 3 6-pin. For Riichi Tanyao, Takame Ipeiko. That could be pretty expensive. Martin as well, Tenpai. I think I missed it. He just got Tenpai. Tenpai for Sanshoku without calling Riichi. And Conor now in trouble. Will he break up the Haku Uncle? 2 So for now. Martin Tenpai on Penchan, 3 So for Sanshoku, 3,900. What will he do? Sumogiri doesn't call Riichi either. Tramy still waiting on the 3 So. 1 man. And here, 3 6-pin. 3 So, there it is! Tramy wins. Oh no! There is Double on, actually, yeah.
Is there a double on?
There is double on, yeah. So it's a double on the 3, so Martin winning Sanshoku for 3,900, and Tramy winning Riichi with how many ura? No ura, Riichi no mi 1,300. With Martin grabbing Zhiyu's Riichi stick, Tramy grabbing back her own Riichi stick. So that means... Yeah, thank you so much, Simon. So that means I think Martin gets plus 4,900. That would mean 34,200. Tramy gets plus 1,3, so that's 35 on the dot. And Zhiyu gets minus 6,200, so that's 23,100 if I believe. Am I correct? I think I am.
Yeah.
That's
Did you say the Rebo went to Martin?
So the Rebo that's rogue goes to Martin because it's the closest in turn.
Right.
So he gets plus 4,900.
You have to remove 1k from Tramy. So it should be 34k, right?
I believe no, because she keeps her Riichi stick, so it's plus 1,300 still. Actually,
right,
she called Riichi, right, she keeps her own Riichi stick. That's the particularity of EMA, by the way. So for those who don't know, when there is a double loan, and one of the players has called Riichi, they grab their own Riichi stick, so they do not lose that. So in theory, they should at least earn as much as their hand. And if they are in the priority order, they grab any Riichi stick that was either left over from previous rounds or from other players. And in this current case, Zhiyu called Riichi as well, so that Riichi stick goes to Martin, who was closer in the turn order. And Tramy only grabs her own Riichi stick back. So that's what happened, and I believe this is correct. Dora is...
6p.
6p. Okay, thank you. I'm gonna updating now. 6.
Martin has a fairly promising hand. He has fairly decent shapes. Conor's hand looks rather slow. There's maybe Junchan or Chanta, but it's all pretty far away at the moment.
Tramy, pretty good shapes overall. One Dora that's a good central floating tile. We could see maybe a Tanyo, maybe Pinfu if she pulls good shapes. Yep, Conor seems to be the slowest for now. Maybe along with Zhiyu.
Easy to use Dora this round.
Yeah, right. Martin already has one of them. As well as
He looks
Tramy.
to have the fastest hand as well.
Tramy not too far behind with 3 pairs, but easy to call pairs for Tanyo maybe. Tanyo 1 Dora. It will be interesting to see if she's the type of player to quickly open for such a hand. Oh, but maybe she doesn't need to call after all. She keeps pulling good tiles. She's already 2 away from Tenpai. Although this current Lian Shanten 2-away shape would require to cut Dora. So it will be left to be seen whether or not she can make use of that Dora for now.
There are ways to keep it in the hand, but it will still take some time.
Yes, that would be... Oh, there it is. So
Shapes.
let's see what she does. That's interesting. That could be 2-pin. Yes, that guarantees to use the Dora. That's one way to do it. Zhiyu E-Shanten with Diamben Kanchan, I believe. Conor also E-Shanten, that is with Diamben Penchan this time. No Dora, but waiting on the Dora on the 4-5 pin, waiting on 3-6.
Yeah.
There it is. Confirms the E-Shanten.
Very nice draw to upgrade your shapes.
Right, the 5, 6, 7,
You
8.
want to particularly deal with the 3S Penchan.
Exactly.
Point,
right.
ideally.
If you pull a 4, 6, 7, 9 mount, that would be nice to upgrade the shape. Tramy also 1 away, E-Shanten, with a bunch of bad shapes, however. That might be a bit trickier to decide how to go about that. Zhiyu now upgrades that Kanchan into a Ryankan, so waiting on the 5 and 7 so, but decides not to take it in order to keep his eyes set on Pinfu, I believe. He wants to keep the 4-4-5 Manzu shape and see if he can pull a 1-4-6 so to build a pair from that and maybe get Pinfu this way. I believe that's actually what a more advanced pair would do. I think intermediate players would keep the Diancon and Dianmen and just go for max acceptance, immediate acceptance for Tenpai. But a slightly more advanced player would actually see that there are like good draws if you actually keep the, if you break the Diancon but keep the 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 shape. There is no 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku, but there is like better ways to get Pinfu for sure.
It's an extended shape, so the 1-4S is still quite useful for making a new pair.
Right, absolutely. Also, Martin pulled another Dora. I didn't mention it, but he's currently on course for 2 away from both a Chitoi 7-pair hand or a normal hand. And there it is. Conor pulled a 6-man that will be a guaranteed Pinfu if he drops 2 1-so, and that's what he does. Ishanten for Pinfu, maybe 1 Dora if he's lucky enough to pull the last one.
Yeah.
And I didn't mention, but actually Tramy is also Ishanten with Lianmen, Kanchan, and Shampong. So waiting on a bunch of Sozu tiles, 4, 7, 6 so. I forgot what the other shape was, but but she's waiting on total of 5 or 6 tiles.
I think it was 8 man.
Yep. Okay, Ishanten for Martin. A bit of a hesitation here on the 9-pin drop.
You do have a couple of choices here.
Yep, could be 8-pin, could be 9-pin.
Could be 4-pin.
4-pin as well. Okay, so it's a 4-way Ishanten. Everyone 1 step away from getting Tenpai and maybe calling Riichi. No one has called any tile yet. Not like they could, because none of them have any way to make an open hand Yaku. Tramy having steered away from Taiyao by drawing the 1-man. And that could be an upgrade. Still not Tenpai, but that would make it a little likelier to get Pinfu on the 1-4 so draws. Or at least a good weight as well.
Yeah.
Like 2-sided weight.
The only ways that you get a bad weight now are on 4-5P draws.
And also 5 so.
Yes.
Oh, that is interesting. Now that guarantees a Lianmen if he drops 6 so. That's what he does. So it's 3 6-man, 4 7-pin, 1-4 so. A 6-way Ishanten that guarantees a good weight. That's very important. I just realized I do not have the Twitch chat open, but I don't think we've had any messages yet.
I have it open. I'm keeping an eye on it.
Okay, if you keep an eye on it, then it's all good.
Martin is Tenpai now.
Yep, Tenpai. Oh, that's an expensive hand too.
He takes the 7P Kanchan.
Yeah.
For Ipeko.
He had the Diamond as well, if he drops the 8, right?
Yes. He also had the 2-5P Tianmen, I believe.
Yep. Decides to go for the Kanchan 7-pin. Riichi Ipeko Dora Dora. That's a guaranteed Mangan as dealer. And the 7-pin here caught by Conor. It could be a Suji trap though. Like he dropped the 4-pin. Maybe, just maybe, if Conor gets Tenpai, it might come out.
It's quite interesting. Conor stopped the 4S for a moment last turn. And he decided to cut it over the 7-pin Suji.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's Genbutsu. I couldn't quite see the discards.
Oh, Tenpai. That's going to be interesting. Will he drop the Genbutsu safe tile 4-pin? Or go for 7?
He's hesitating.
And there it is! Martin wins with Riichi Ipeko Dora Dora. 12,000 and no Ura. Stops at Mangan, but still very expensive. And I think I forgot to update the number of counters, so Honba was 1 actually. My bad for that. So that's 12,300.
It's interesting to see that Conor did recognize the danger. He did stop it even over the 4S, which was Sotogawa and Suji.
Yep.
With the early 2S cut and the later 7S cut.
Correct.
Rather than Suji for the Riichi tile, which is a bit less reliable.
That is true, but that's something that's not exactly too well known, depending on the playing field. That the Riichi declaration tile Suji is oftentimes pretty tricky to to use as a reliable source of defense. So as for the scores, Martin gets plus 12,300, so I reckon it gets him up to 46,500, with Conor being player 1, losing 12-3, so that should be 15,400. Checks out. I'll update now. So now we have Martin with a pretty large lead, over 10,000 points of lead ahead of Tramy in second place, and still Dealer.
It's going to be a tough lead to try to overtake in Akanashi.
Yes, that is true. Akanashi is often
like,
ruthless like that.
Yeah, your dealer turns are quite important in Akanashi, I feel. A lot more so than Akari.
I believe so as well, yeah. That's because you have less sources of value. Therefore, you want to make the most out of every single round where you gain more points.
Yeah.
That makes it even trickier to decide between speed and value, actually. At least for me.
True.
Since I love to go for speed, but I'm sort of more, more familiar with Aka Ari rules because of online play. It's something I have personally a lot of trouble with to decide whether to speed up the hand or not. Because speeding up the hand will inevitably lower its value, but then you have to decide whether you want to keep your deal set or not. So that's something that our players will also have to question themselves about. All right, Conor.
Tramy's hand seems to be in the best shape at the moment.
Yep, that's what it seems. Conor pulled a good draw, but
although
still...
if Conor draws a couple of useful tiles, it could be a big hand.
Yeah.
3S would instantly improve the hand.
Zhiyu as well, lots of mill tiles. That could be a Taiyao, maybe sometimes Sanshoku if the draws are really correct, although that's a bit tough to see for now. Conor, one away, Ishanten.
If he cuts the 8 pin or the 1S or 4S.
Martin has a callable hand. He has Haku, White Dragon pair. That could allow for a pretty quick hand. He doesn't need value as much now that he's in the lead, but he could decide... Oh, Tempai already. Decides not to take it. That could be a good call, although the 8 pin is a bit of a tricky floater for now. But that is an interesting play.
He can replace the 8 pin with a different floater as soon as he draws one.
I agree. Tramy also one away, good headless Ishanten.
This is the same extended shape that we saw earlier, the 3, 5, 6, 7, 8 pin.
Right.
Where you have some additional ways to make a pair.
Tuso as a floater. He did discard one so earlier. That could be a little tricky. And there is Tempai for Tramy.
It would be interesting to see what he would do.
Doesn't take it either.
Oh.
So those are interesting plays actually. Oh, there is Tempai, but that's Furiten. Although that's the best value he could get for now, I believe. So will he decide to go for Furiten Riichi? No. Stays Dama. That is Silent Tempai. Oh, Martin pulling 2 Anko back to back. 9-man and Sha. That could be a disaster if he pulls more Anko like that.
Yeah.
That could be a disastrous strong hand. Let's see what's his next draws will be. That will be interesting. With already such a big lead, if he pulls another Mangan or more hand, that could be fatal.
Yeah, even beyond the current game, it might be tough to catch up in the upcoming games for the other players.
I agree. It might already shape what the next games will be. Oh, he decides to break Tempai. Doesn't keep the 310.
He's not a fan of Furiten Riichi.
It could be because Wanso is already 3 or 4 cut actually. Oh,
that is true.
Tempai. So she has a choice between 7 pin waiting on 258 or 8 pin drop waiting on 47. Will she see the better shape? Goes for Riichi here. So that's Riichi, Pinfu, Taiyao, Dora waiting on another potential Dora. That could be also the reason why she went for that. If she pulls a Dora at least, she gets Tsumo. That's Haneman, actually. Riichi, Tsumo, Tanyo, Pinfu, Dora, Dora at best. And at worst, it's still Mangan, or at least 7-7. So 4-7 pin is already 3 in her hand, 2 in Martin's hand. And I believe none of them have been discarded.
The 3S cut by Conor was Genbutsu.
Yep.
It's quite convenient for him.
Pretty good. Martin also has to decide now whether he wants to push or pull. Basically, he has a lot of safe tiles, and he has also a very promising hand, so that's a choice. Decides to go for Forso, which is a good way to not completely ruin the hand without playing too dangerously. It's like a Nakasuji, because Tramy dropped the 1 and 7, so the 4 is slightly less likely to deal in.
It's a tough spot because you do want to push the hand, but it feels like it's going to be a bit slow, and your final weight is likely to be a Shampon or something.
Right.
Which might not be great.
I agree. And on top of that, it will probably be a lot cheaper. Oh, that's a Takamitsumo! That is going to be very expensive.
Wow.
Riichi, Tsumo, Tanyo, Pinfu, Dora, Dora. Maybe with 2 Ura and lots of pairs in her hand, that could lead to Baiman, potentially.
Yeah.
What's the Ura Dora indicator? Well, we get to see it on screen. There it is. 8-man, no Ura, but it's still Haneman. So that's 3,200, 6,200, with Martin paying 6,200. So that's going to be...
That's an 18,000 point swing against first place. Slightly more with the Humpa. So Tramy overtakes now first place.
Yep, correct. And we have 12,600 to add to Tramy's score, so that's 47,600. And I think this checks out. I'm going to update the deal as well. And we have player 3 as Tiller. No Dora indicator. Should be correct. So that's a choice that paid off actually for Tramy. Choosing the worst weight but the more expensive out actually paid off because she drew the most expensive tile. Oh, I need to remove the counters actually. I forgot. There we go. Alright, so that was a pretty expensive point exchange here, with Tramy now beginning her deal turn. So we're now under... Oops, sorry.
Shuffle tile. Seeing the auto table shuffle tiles is quite nice.
Yeah, it's pretty satisfying. Makes you want to play with one.
Yeah.
All right, so we're now under the 1 hour remaining mark. Actually, at 58 minutes left now. And we entered East 3 at long last after Martin's lengthy dealer turn. For the scores, our current Irish champion is at 12,200. Zhiyu in 3rd place at 19,900. Martin 2nd place 40,300. And Tramy currently leading the game at 47,600 points. Dora is 7 pin. That's updated now.
That's a very strong high buy.
Yeah, I haven't seen all the shapes, but...
She has Sun Menchan, a few pairs already, including Dora. And as dealer, that's a fast and strong hand.
Yeah, that is invaluable indeed. Indeed. Now I can see it, and wow, that's a fantastic pull too. She can even start to see a 4-5-6 Sanshoku.
Yeah.
But at the very least, her current shape guarantees that she ends with a Diamond plus weight. So that's extremely valuable as Oya. As dealer.
Conor might be able to stop it if he decides to pull Chun and go for a faster hand.
Yep.
Since his shapes are all fairly poor.
Oh, but Tramy now has 2 pairs of 5 and 6, so it could open the door to an open hand, although that might be a little bit of a waste because of how good the shapes actually are. But we'll see what she decides to do. She hasn't shown a strong desire to open her hand so far, since the beginning of the game. Not that her previous hands allowed her to do that, but we'll see what she decides to do here.
It should make for a few interesting decisions on things like 4-7 S-roll or 5-6 S-roll.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Actually, I would be interested to see what she does on 3-6-9 pin pole. Or rather, 3-6 especially. Alright. Conor has that pair of Chun, but no good shapes for now. Martin has a pretty okay shape, actually. He now has a pair out aside of that 7 so Onko. Oh, there it is. 3 so Tsumogiri. Okay. So she decides to keep the shape as is for now.
Yeah.
There was one route where you could cut the 2 west tiles, so Sha, into maybe trying to go for Taiyao, but that's not guaranteed because you have a 3-6-9 weight shape in the Pinzu. So I believe dropping the 3 so here was a good call from Tramy.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. That's interesting.
There we go.
Alright, so she does take the Taiyao route here.
It does also still leave Sunshine open.
Absolutely.
Just draw the 4S or... The 7S not so much. The Pinzu shape is very difficult to work with.
But that could be a Pinfu at least with a 7 so.
True.
Oh, more middle tiles. Now that's a pretty complex shape. She can actually open her hand and decide to go for Taiyao Wandora if her opponents allow her to. But that would require to lesser the weight on 3-6 pin only instead of 3-6-9 if you want to guarantee Taiyao. You could also just pong 5 pin or 5 so and go 4-7 mount. That's also possible.
Yep. As you said though, it does feel a bit wasteful with a hand that looks that good.
Right. And that's one point with like Akanashi rules, so rule sets without red Doras, that because you have fewer sources of value, you really want to make the most out of every hand. So when you have a really strong hand like that, you want to be a bit more like value-minded instead of speed-minded. If your shape is really that good, you have like so many ways to make a strong, good weight in the end, and many ways to get to Tempai and such. Martin would be interesting to see what he does here. Will he get 7 mount and go headless, or will he just keep the Ryokan as is?
Would be an Anko headless.
Yep.
With some potential for Sanchuku if you upgrade the 1-2-3P shape.
Doesn't take it though.
He decides to Tsumogiri and keep the Ryokan. And that is Ishanten.
He pulled the Dora too. That's very big because Conor has 2 Dora, but a pretty slow hand. Still, no good draws, pretty slow shapes. But pulling one of the it was the last Dora too. Oh, Tempai for Tramy though. That's expensive as well. Riichi Taiyao Dora would be 7-7 guaranteed. Will she go for Riichi? Drops 5 pin.
I suppose it doesn't give much extra information to the other players, considering she got 2 pin earlier.
It does not give that much info, that's true. Okay, waiting on 4-7 mount with I guess 2 in the discards for now, from what I could see. 2 in Zhiyu's hand.
Yes. Seems like it. There are at least a couple of 5Ms out already, so from Tramy's perspective, 3 of those are visible. It should be hard to use the remaining 4-7M.
Yep, there are 2 in Martin's hand as well. He could actually intercept them because he has a Monza shape. Oh, 3 actually. There is only 1 winning tile left.
Yeah.
So only 1 winning tile on the wall.
Fortunately for Martin, he didn't take the... I mean, I guess either way, it's easy to use the 4-7M.
Right.
But this makes it slightly easier for Martin.
Zhiyu now Diam and Ishanten with potentially Pinfu Dora. He's a bit behind. Will he be attacking here, or will he take a defensive stance for now? That would be interesting to see. He has still a Gemutsu. He decides to drop the 2 so Suji against Tramy.
This 9P has not passed. It does not look particularly safe. and Martin does decide to fold.
He is sitting on a pretty comfortable amount of points still. He's not in first place, but he does have... Well, if the game were to end here, it would be plus 15.3, which is pretty... Oh, 7, so the fourth one. I don't know what he's gonna do with that.
I mean, he's already started folding, so I assume he'll just continue folding.
Right.
For now.
If no players call, that means the Haite, the last drawn tile in the live wall, will go to Zhiyu for now. It goes to south sit systematically. Therefore, if Martin were to call Khan here, it would actually move the Haite to Tramy. That would be actually pretty interesting, but I don't think it's gonna happen. But hopefully those are like good things to know when you're playing offline, actually, because you have no counter of remaining tiles in the live wall. So it's actually like good mechanical knowledge to know about the height and live walls and such.
Yeah. Martin might also have decided to fold, considering how late it is in the round. He may just be hoping for Tramy to not win this round.
Right.
And not take any risks. It's another way to aim for first still.
So back to E10, but that's a bit of a tricky shape to keep. Keeps E10 because it's safe to do so. And there it is. That's an abortive draw, with Tramy being the only one Tempai. So she takes 1,000 points from each opponent, but leaves her deposit on the table, which means we move to East 3-1 with 1 Honba, 1 deposit, and scores that should be as such. With the Dora being I'll wait for my assistant. West. So Sha or West is the Dora.
Really difficult to use.
That is going to be difficult here indeed. Tramy looks to have a very good hand. It wasn't sorted, but I've seen quite a few complete shapes and quite a few central tiles as well. So that's going to be... Yep, same as well. Conor with a pair of East that could also lead to a fast hand if the rest of the shapes follow along. Oh, that's another middle tile. That's pretty good. Okay, so she's 2 away from Tempai already. Liang Shanten with Liangkan, Diangmen, I believe. That's pretty amazing.
And one of the Ryunkans includes Ikeko as well.
That's right. That could also lead to some value as dealer, and with Adora being such a difficult to use wind, that could be actually great for Tramy.
Martin has a way to use the Dora a bit more easily now. With the Haku draw.
Potentially, yeah. If he decides to keep the Dora all the way, and there is a Pong from Martin here. Drops 8 So, drops 2 and 8, keeps the Lianmen in the Sozu and Pinzu, Penshan in the Manzu. Will he be able to pair up the West and go for 3,900 to try to overtake Tramy? That will be up for draws to see. Oh, Tramy broke her Liangkan and decided to come from Ipeko shape. That's interesting.
Decided to keep the 6S floater. That's a very good draw for Conor, although his hand is still fairly slow and doesn't seem to have a good way to build value.
There is Ishantet for Tramy. She's speeding up. She's not letting the other players catch a breath. Lianmen Kanchan with guaranteed 3,900 if she pulls from the Lianmen first, and 5,800 if she draws the 5-pin, which would be amazing. And there it is. Martin drops the Dora.
He's still Ishanten, but he has the ability to call for Tempai on both the 5M and 9P now for pawn 10.
Zhiyu with lots of pairs.
It's become quite awkward.
Yeah, it is. I
He
agree.
has lots of incomplete Tianmen and lots of pairs.
It's that famous, well, or rather infamous 2 away from both 7 pairs and Pinfu. And you want to keep an eye on both because you don't know what you're gonna draw. Actually, Martin was Liang Shanten. He doesn't yet have Pawn 10. I just noticed.
Ah, true. Yes, you're right.
Drops
I
the
thought
penchant.
censorship was completed.
Okay, but now he has maybe his eyes set on 4, 5, 6 Sanshoku, I think? I think it was possible, yeah. I think it's possible to go 4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
I'm still a...
No, it was the 6-7p shape in his hand.
Oh, my bad. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still properly awake, so worry about that. It may be because it was sorted the other way around, so I thought the 7 wasn't a 5 in my brain, actually. But there it is, Ishanten. And a pretty good Ishanten at that. Oh, Tenpai! The best way possible as well! Riichi pin for Ipeiko, potentially? That is amazing.
This is fairly brutal for the other players.
That is brutal, and that's a great weight as well. 2 5-man. I don't think I see any in the discards.
Yeah,
And
I don't think I've seen any.
0 in Zhiyu's hand, 3 in Conor's hand, 2 in Martin's hand, that's
Conor
3 left.
Immediately draw the 5-hand, but fortunately it looks fairly easy to use.
It looks easy to stop, yeah. Zhiyu Ishanten as well, that's the perfect Ishanten as we call it, Kanzenke. That means you have a Lianmen, well, 2 Lianmen and a Shampoo as well. That means you're waiting on 6 9-pin, 2 5-pin to get Pinfu. And if you pull one of the 2 pairs that you have, you can still get at least a Lianmen weight, that is a 2-sided weight, that guarantees you have a good weight. And that's something that you want to value in your game as well. However, here Zhiyu decides to fold and defend against the dealer Riichi. That is very wise.
There's still a chance that he gets back to Tempe with something like Chitoi, if the tiles he has to push become safe enough.
Right. He missed Tempai by 1 turn, but that's... I mean, that would be very difficult to push as well.
Yeah. Against dealer Riichi, it's pretty tough.
It's really tough, especially in Akanashi, because, well, the dealer has basically the monopoly, and probably even more so with such a Dora, actually.
Yeah. I think there's still only 1 Dora visible as well, so it's not a very comfortable situation still.
Absolutely. Yeah, he decides to completely move towards defense here. Very wise from Zhiyu to bide his time for now.
There is still Ishanten, but he has a few tiles he'll have to push if he wants to keep that.
That's going to be very tricky. Not a lot of safety around. Tenpai. 8-man was safe. So it's a 5-man 9-pin Shampoo, I believe, versus a 2-5-man Bianmen. Will we see a second double loan? I don't think there is any reason for that. Oh, Tenpai as well. Oh, and that's a 2-man that Tramy was waiting for. Yeah. That could be actually very tricky for Tramy to win now, with that number of tiles stopped by the other players. Still 1, I believe, left in the wall. Could be 2.
He decides to take Tenpai Dama. He doesn't have Yaku, so he can't get a direct hit on anyone at the moment, I believe.
It has to draw Tsumo himself, yeah. Or if he decides to call Riichi later, but for now he decides to stay Damaten, that is silent Tenpai. And cannot say loan on any player because of the lack of Yaku. And there is a 2-pin. Will he chi for Tenpai? Although that would be a Yaku-less Tenpai as well.
He has to push 7p. If he does.
That's what he does. Doesn't take Tenpai. Goes for a 5-soul drop instead. 5-soul looks safe indeed. I believe the 2 came out quite a number of times. 6 as well. And that could leave a question. There it is, Riichi from Conor. That's actually pretty interesting to see him call Riichi after Zhiyu decided to open his hand. I believe that's a good play as well. But there it is, Tsumo for Tramy. Riichi Tsumo pin for Ipeiko. 1 Ura could be huge. Ura is 4-pin 2 Ura, that's Haneman. 6,100 from each.
Wow.
Riichi Tsumo pin for Ipeiko. Ura. Haneman. That is going to bring her lead to a massive, probably over 30,000 points ahead of Martin at this point. So let me update the scores now. It's gonna be
Overwhelming.
tricky. So Conor paid 7,100 because of the Riichi declaration as well. So that's gonna leave him with 4,100. Martin with 6-1, that leaves him at 3,200. He's still in positive technically. Zhiyu with 12,800, and Tramy with plus 19,300. 68,900, I think. Oh wait, no, I forgot the Riichi stick. Oh wait, oh there was one deposit actually from before.
19.3.
So I think it's 69,900. Wait.
Yeah. With the one deposit from before, that sounds right.
Oh, I mistook two fields. I'm sorry. That's correct. There we go. I had the home ban Riichi deposits field mistaken. All right, Dora is. That looks like another promising hand for Tramy. Lots of Pinzu, lots of pairs of honors. 5-pin Dora, that's the right suit as well for Hoitsu potentially. That could be a very expensive hand as well.
Yeah.
5-pin. So now we're in East 3-2 Homba. Conor with a pretty interesting hand as well.
It seems like a fast hand, but it might be a bit tough to make value. I guess he can always go for Onitsu, but he'd have to break up some of his better shapes.
Right. Oh, Zhiyu also has a speedy hand as well. Lots of middle tiles. That could be a Tayo, 1 Dora potentially type of hand. Conor also with a pair of Ton and Haku, that is East and White Dragon. That could lead to a hand with 2 Yakuhai. Could be a fast open hand as well. As a reminder, because well, I do not want to jinx anything happening in the game, but as a reminder, under the EMA rules, if a player drops below 0 points, that is, if they go under, wow, that's a great pull for Conor. If they go under 0 points, the game still continues. The game does not end upon the player going in the negatives, as opposed to most online ranked rule sets. So Conor will be borrowing sticks from the referee slash technical director slash assistant slash Simon, and the game will resume with those borrowed sticks.
Yeah. Conor has 3 different Tianmens in his hand. He has 6 blocks at the moment, I believe.
Tramy could be looking
none of them are
at...
completed.
Oh yeah, actually he's with a pretty tricky hand actually. He has a triplet of Haku, so he has a guaranteed Yaku already. He could open his hand at any time, if of course his left player decides to allow him to do so. Decides to drop the 5-6 man here. Maybe to look for maybe a Sozu Honitsu, maybe a half flush of Sozu.
Tramy could be just looping for 5 blocks at this point.
That could be very expensive from Tramy. She's 2 away from a Pinzu.
That's a very
Honitsu.
good draw.
Yeah.
Zhiyu also has some potential for 5-6-7 Sanshoku, for instance, but the Sozu shape is a bit tough to deal with.
At worst, it
also
could be
Shanten.
Right. At worst, it could be Dora Dora with Tayo, I believe.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay, so Tramy could be looking at another Mangan as dealer here if she pulls 5-pin or decide, or I mean, if she pulls enough tiles to stay Menzen that is closed and she doesn't make any calls, or if she can pull a Dora, that would lead to maybe Honitsu Yaku Dora. That would lead to a Mangan. Open Honitsu is 2 Han, closed Honitsu is 3 Han. Honitsu is half flush, as a reminder to our viewers.
The 5M has returned.
Yeah, has the decision, decides to
a bit.
drop it as well.
But he decides to stick to his initial choice.
Good pull from Martin. 3 so here. Decides to drop the 4-pin that Tramy cannot call. She can only call the 2-5-8-pin. Decides to ignore the diamond. That's also a committal choice here. Decides to confirm the Pinzu half flush shape. Martin could call Puon Hatsu here. Decides to ignore it. Maybe
He
looks
seems
out for
to
value.
he seems to be playing a bit more defensively with all the middle tile cuts early. Maybe he
Yes,
thinks other players are faster than he is.
that could be the reason indeed. Zhiyu still Kutsuki Shanten. Decent pull from Conor actually. That's the Dora Shanten. That could lead to 5,200 if he calls the East here with East White Dragon and one Dora and 40 That could. Oh, that's an amazing pull for Tramy. Shanten for a close Honitsu with potentially one Dora, potentially one Yakuhai. For now, none of that is confirmed, but she's one away from Tenpai and she's not yet done with her deal turn. Nine pin, still cannot call. Tenpai! There it is! Was she called Riichi?
Wow.
Those are amazing draws.
Insane.
Will she say Damaten, that is hidden Tenpai, or will she call Riichi and confirm the Mangan as dealer? Will she not take Tenpai?
She may be struggling to understand the shape, but she's
Nah,
separated
she sees
her
the
block
clear Tenpai
out
here.
and she can see it now.
There it is, Riichi! So that's a guaranteed Mangan as dealer. Riichi, Honitsu waiting on Sha and Chun. I think I only see Sha
There's
once
one
cut.
Sha.
And that's 3 in the wall. No way.
Chun might be a bit difficult to get from the other players, considering the discards look like Honitsu. But the last shot, maybe someone decides to push it.
Tenpai as well for Zhiyu, waiting on 5 pin and 7 man. Tanyao, Dora Dora, maybe 3 Dora. That could be the one to stop Tramy's rampage here. But Tramy's weight is 3 in the wall. That is going to be very difficult to beat. Eight pin. 7 pin. That is difficult to push against Delorici with a clear Pinzu flush.
He's already pushed the 6 pin on Ifatsu, and the 8 pin has gone out last turn.
Goes for it! Keep Senpai.
The value is there, and he knows that Tramy is already on a huge lead.
Yes. Oh, there is 1 5 pin. That's going to be tricky for Zhiyu here. How many tiles are left for Zhiyu actually? 7 man? How many is it? Oh, he could switch to 4 man, but no reason to do that, I believe.
Yeah.
7 man could be 2 in the wall actually. No, wait. How many? Oh, Conor Tenpai as well. 8 pin is safe. Riichi? No, Dama. Yaku Dora with 50 foot at 6,400. That is a 3-way Tenpai. Tsumo Takame! That's another Haneman. Riichi Tsumo Honitsu Chun. She is not stopping. Wow. She might be closing in on 80,000 points now. How many Ura? 9 man is Ura. So that leaves it at Haneman, but still 6,000 becomes 6,200 from each. No one called Riichi were against 2 Dama hands, so that's 18,600 plus, which is 78,500, I believe. Then we got... So there we have it. Conor drops in the negatives. That's minus 2,100. 6-2... No, wait. No, that is correct.
This is an overwhelming first game.
That is
Already
insane.
Down to a third of the time remaining, and Tramy's dealer turn is still ongoing.
Wait. Did I say something about 18,000 points? No, she was at already at 70,000, so it's 88,500.
Yeah.
I think I almost forgot 10,000 points for Tramy. She's almost closing in on 90,000 points instead. That is overwhelming. But that's what 2 Haneman Sumo as dealer will do. So the scores should be correct now. So there you have it. The current Irish champion in a bit of a pinch, being in negatives now. Zhiyu in third place, pretty rough spot as well with only 6,600 points. Martin still surprisingly holding on to a positive score right now with 27,000 points, but in second place, which would be a total of 2 points. And Tramy with a crazy plus 73.5 for now. And her deal turn keeps going on.
It's a tough situation for both Conor and Zhiyu, I think. I think Conor probably has to try to aim for second or third place, at least. Considering there isn't much time to do much else.
Yes.
This high play is...
One Swiss Dora. So, the tricky part here is that... well, the game will probably not go all the way till South 4, given the timer and given that we're only at East 3 right now, which will also play a role into deciding what to do with everyone's hands, well, the player's decision making, that is. Tramy with a 3-pair 1 Onko shape. There is no way we're seeing Suonko here. Is there enough flow left for... Is there any flow left for Tramy to get Suonko?
I thought about it after seeing the high play, but surely.
Surely it ends here,
Surely
is
not.
what we're thinking, but what is going to happen is the real question. Will she be able to pull back-to-back Haneman, Gyakuman? And will the entire match be all about catching up to Tramy?
Other players have some fairly difficult hands to play. They're still quite slow.
If all the hands are slow, I don't want to jinx it, but that might leave enough time for Tramy to pull 2 or 3 good tiles.
Yeah.
Conor with Dora Dora, however, and a pretty decent shape actually. He's 2 away, Dian Shanten with Dianmen Kanchan Penchan. Value is here, so he could at least try to see a Mangan here and, well, get back to third. Oh, that's Ishanten for Tramy, however. It's not the Ishanten she was hoping for, probably. She doesn't even go with the full acceptance. But she is indeed Ishanten for both Chitoi, that is 7 pairs, and Ipeko. That could still be very expensive, actually.
Yes.
Riichi Chitoi guarantees 4,800. Riichi Ipeko guarantees 3,900. Even if you decide not to go Riichi, that would be 2,400 and 2,000. And as a reminder, there are 3 counters, 3 Homba, that is plus 900 points for any hand that's going to be completed here. Forso lives with a pretty complex shape, but useless here because we already have enough pairs. So that's a fair Tsumogiri from Tramy here. The other hand's not making much progress. Eiso here, somewhat helpful, but not the best tile.
Yeah.
Only Martin could have the potential to go for a faster hand with the East pair. Tramy doesn't take the Ryankan here, decides to Tsumogiri the 5-man, denies the 4-man acceptance here to get Tenpai with no Yaku. That might force Riichi. Oh, Ishanten for Conor. That could be interesting. It's not the best Ishanten in the world, but it has value.
Yeah. He needs to fill in a few bad shapes, but if he does so...
If he does so, that could be promising.
Could be promising.
She refuses Ipeko Ishanten. So it's either gonna be Toitoi, Chitoi, or you know what?
She might be feeling the flow.
Yeah, she might be feeling it. It might be difficult to see from our point of view over here. Oh, goes for Pon, so she doesn't go for the Yakuman. However, Toitoi is still going to guarantee 3,900, which with 3 Homba would be 4,800, which would still be a pretty strong hand, all things considered.
Yeah.
It might sound underwhelming compared to her previous amazing hits, but it will still be quite valuable. Zhiyu Ishanten as well here with I think it's the same shape as before. It's like 6-9 pin. No, 6-9 so 1-4 pin and something else. But it's like a 2-way on 3 suits that guarantees a 2-sided weight. And I think Conor was enchanted for Sanshoku as well with 2 Dora. That could be expensive. That could lead to Haneman maybe if he pulls it, if he pulls the tempai himself. Riichi Tsumo Sanshoku Dora would be expensive. Oh, Zhiyu decides to keep the... Oh, tempai for Conor! That's amazing!
Yeah.
Dama is Mangan, but if he calls Riichi, Tsumo is Haneman. There it is! Riichi! From the current Irish champion. Riichi Sanshoku Dora waiting on a penchant 7-man. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe so.
It's actually pretty rough. It's twice cut, I think. And I think it's one in Zhiyu's hand, so it only leaves 1 tile in the wall. However, it's also Suji trapped because he dropped the 4-man earlier. Oh no, actually it's 0 in the wall. Martin has the last one. It's between Martin and Zhiyu now. And if they decide to push, there is no way they're gonna drop it.
Yeah.
So that could actually be...
Martin has been playing fairly defensively so far. So maybe he will decide to cut it if he has nothing better.
Actually, Tramy also... Zhiyu also not playing very aggressive in this round. Decides to lesser the Ishanten here by dropping 6-0. 6-0 that was Genbutsu. Martin has to decide. 7-pin. Senpin was not safe.
Yes, it is the Matagi Suji.
That
But
could...
I think he saw 3 of the 6p, so he may have seen it was one chance, perhaps.
It's possible, yeah.
Because he has one in his hand, and there are 2 visible currently on screen.
Zhiyu with... Haku drop could lead to Kutsuki Shanten. Not exactly viable as he doesn't have Dora and doesn't have pin for Tanyao guaranteed in any way. Now decides to defend here.
Yeah.
So for now, it's only between... Oh, Martin could also be chasing here. He's Ishanten, Kutsuki Ishanten as well. Although the floaters are a bit questionable, but... Oh, decides to defend here, okay. So for now, it's only between Tramy and Zhiyu. Tramy not giving up the Ishanten for Toi Toi. Zhiyu's draws are telling him to fight, but... Conor with an empty weight. All of his winning tiles are either in the discards or in the player's hands. So he will have to count on Martin and Zhiyu to deal in if he wants to win.
Both of the 4Ps are gone for Tramy. They're both in other players' hands. In Martin and Zhiyu's hands, respectively.
So there leaves only Sha left. Sha is 2 in the wall, is it not?
I believe so. I haven't seen any.
Yep. That could lead to a potential Tempai. Oh, there it is! The 7! It came out!
Yeah.
The Suji 7. While Z was trying to defend Riichi Sanshoku Dora, that's super rough. But that will bring Conor at least to 3rd place with no Ura that stops it at Mangan, but that makes it 8,900, which is massive for Conor. Conor, who's... Sorry, go ahead.
I've been worried about the Haku Shonpei, considering dealer looked like they were going for a Toi Toi based hand.
That is true. 8,900?
In this case, it backfired.
6-8 and Zhiyu minus 8.9, so that leaves minus 2.3. Is that correct? I believe it is. I'm going to update the scores now. Okay, so there we have it. Zhiyu is the one now in negatives with minus 2,300.
Their scores have pretty much flipped.
Pretty much, yeah. It was 200 points difference, but yeah. And we're finally in the last round of the East turn.
Yeah.
With only 21 minutes left on the timer. We have Andrew Zaps in the chat. Hello, Andrew, and welcome to the live stream. The Conor comeback starts here. Yes, I believe so. That might be the Irish Riichi champion comeback here. He's not gonna let his title go away so easily. Zhiyu now begins his first Dill turn, finally, after 70 minutes of a long and hard fight for everyone. Tramy still with an overwhelming lead at 88,000 points. Okay, Zhiyu's starting hand, not exactly clear how he's going to proceed, but it's not the worst. Conor also has a pretty decent starting hand, 4 pairs. Maybe looking out for some... Oh, Dora is 6-0 as well. I'm gonna need to update that. 6-0. Conor might see potential for like a Chitoi Dora type of hand. Oh, Zhiyu has 2 Dora actually. So that could lead to Tayo Dora maybe, because the shapes are not exactly the best. Conor might see a normal hand here with that Lianmen. But 3 pairs is a bit rough. He has a 4th one in the 7th as well, so that could lead to Chitoi. The door is not closed yet, at the very least.
Yeah. And currently, the people with the most incentive to push are 3rd and 4th place, respectively.
Yes.
That placement bonus is pretty important here.
Yes, I believe so. If you're not going to be able to match Tramy's amazing score value, well, hand value that is, you might want to take first places on repeat, or at least defend your positions and try to mitigate the damage by protecting your position, or trying to get back up to 3rd place for Zhiyu, that is.
Yeah.
Because
conversely, if Tramy just wins a few cheap hands to try and end the game, she'll be in a very good spot.
Exactly.
For the rest of the tournament.
As a reminder, under EMA rules, the UMA, that is the placement bonus, is plus 15 for first place, plus 5 for second place, and it's symmetrical, meaning minus 5 for third and minus 15 for fourth. The total that you see on the screen here, that is the plus 73.5 for Tramy, for example, is the computed total of the score that's displayed, that's being brought up to absolute. That is, we remove the starting amount of sticks, so the 30,000 point amount is removed from that score, and then it's divided by 1,000, and the placement bonus is added as well. So the scores are what the final scores would be if the Hanshan were to end right then and now. Now, under EMA rules, it's pretty tricky to make a comeback solely based on placement bonuses, because those are fairly small, at least compared to other rule sets. But it's still possible, because that's the first of 4 games, so that leaves 3 games still to make a comeback. If you manage to drag Tramy down to last place in any of the games, it's very unclear who is going to be the next Irish champion. So nothing is set in stone. Nothing is ever set in stone in Mahjong anyway. Even that amazing, close to 100,000 and pretty impressive score from Tramy might not secure her victory. Far from it.
Someone mentioned that Conor might have a chance for Tian Pieku. It's still a bit distant. He's already broken it with the 1M cut.
Yeah, it looks like he's edging, well, rather trying to keep the Sozu shape as is. He also abandoned 7 pairs Chitoi, by the way, in doing so. So he's probably keeping the Sozu shape, the complex Sozu. Oh, that's the 4th Forso here. Will he call Kan? He's Oya and he's Ishanten. There it is.
Yeah.
Forso on Kan, that is closed Kan from Zhiyu. That is very interesting now in terms of value, because it brings him up to 50 Fu with 2 Dora that guarantees 9,600 if he is to win on with a Menzen hand, that is, and the Riichi Tsumo guarantees Mangan all the same with the 2 Dora. But Tayo could lead to at least 40 Fu, which would be 7-7 if he opens his hand.
Dora is 4M.
4M is a new Dora. Oh, we
So
didn't have an option to add that to the
we'll have to just keep
setup.
that in mind.
Yep, we'll have to keep it in mind.
Martin's hand has exploded in value as a result.
Oh, that is true. That could lead to an
With
interesting
Hitoi,
fight.
Dora Dora, Ishanten.
Yep,
Zhiyu has also gained 1 Dora, so he does benefit from this as well.
that is true. That guarantees a manga now. Well,
Yeah.
11,600s. No, actually, he has 40 fu. It's guaranteed to be manga now.
Yes.
If Martin... Oh, the last Dora is already in someone else's hand. I think it's Conor. So there won't be Chitoi 4 Dora for Martin. And if he decides to wait on the Dora, that might be tricky to win. Oh, that's a pawn from Martin. Toi Toi? Interesting.
He's decided to change course.
He decides to go for the Toi Toi route to probably allow himself to call the tiles as he pleases. Oh, another Sozu for Conor. That is no 10 still. However, because he's Zhiyu's right player and Zhiyu is... Oh, but he decides to go for the max acceptance here. There was a way for him to go for a flush, full flush of the Sozu.
True.
But that's a bit difficult because the Forso is already a con in Zhiyu's hand. And there is a pawn of Dora now that guarantees Mangan. Everyone can see that Zhiyu's hand is Manga now. Tenpai! Also, that's a very, very tricky Tenpai. It can either be Penchan 3-man or Shampoo 2-man 7, so in both cases it's gonna be a bad weight. But it's Riichi Dora if he decides to go for it.
You are also fighting against a dealer with open Mangan guarantee.
So he decides not to call Riichi here. 3-man, as a reminder, is 3 visible actually. That would be very difficult to go for it. There are 2 in discards and 1 in the new Dora indicator. That only leaves 1 left in the wall, or maybe in someone's hand actually. I think it's in Zhiyu's hand, is it not? It is.
Yes, he has the 3-4-5M.
So Conor's weight is once again empty. Now in the previous round, it did not mean that he wasn't winning because he ended up taking the winning tile from Zhiyu. Zhiyu Tenpai, there it is. Tanyao Dora 4, guaranteed Mangan, waiting on Kanshan 4 pin.
Yeah.
Kanshan 4 pin, I believe, is a pair in Martin's hand. Yes, it is. And he's not gonna cut it if he wants to go for Toi Toi. As a reminder, Martin has a pawn of north tiles, but his west seat, so he does not get a Yaku from that. He has to go for Toi Toi if he wants a Yaku, Toi Toi being all triplets. But he could also decide to take the Tenpai in the shape and try to gain points from that. And maybe that could result in a 4-pin drop that would lead to a win for Zhiyu. That we will have to see. Tramy in a bit of a tricky spot with lots of pins in her hand, a tricky shape at that. It might be a bit late to see a flush in the Pinzu, so she drops the 19, tries to go for Tanyao instead, that is all simples.
She may also be trying to play a bit more defensively against Zhiyu. But I'm not sure what the discards look like at the moment.
And that's a Riichi from Conor. So that's the second time that we've seen Conor do that thing where he doesn't have a guaranteed Yaku and decides not to call Riichi right away, waits a few turns to see if he can get any change of, well, either change of heart or improvements in his hand, and decides to go for Riichi after 3 turns. Oh, that could be improvement for Zhiyu's hand. If he drops 6 pin, that's a Lianmei that's waiting on 4-7 pin, which he goes for. He's Oya and he's in last place. He has to defend his position, or rather he has to better his position here. As a reminder, Conor has no winning tiles left in the wall, so that's gonna be very tricky for him to seize this round.
Unfortunately, the 4-7p is almost entirely dead. There's 3 in this hand, and all of the 4p's are either in Tramy's hand or in Martin's hand.
Yes. That's gonna be tricky as well. There's 1 in Conor's discards.
Yeah, so it's an entirely dead weight, actually.
Yep, that's 2 empty weights here. 0 versus 0.
But if he can keep Tempe, at least he'll have another chance as dealer next round.
Actually, is there any way for Tramy to make Chinitsu still?
I think there are too many tells dead because there's at least 4 3-6p dead.
Yeah, I was thinking about
The
the 8
18
pin,
was
2
full
pin.
already. I think the 8 pin, 2 pin were both at least once out.
I think 8 pin was 2 and 2 pin was 1 remaining. Oh, Tempai for Martin actually. So that's 3 way. Oh, she would have pulled the Tempai!
Wow.
Amazing. But she's Ishanten still, and it's 3 players Tempai now. Martin might actually have a chance. I didn't see how alive his weight was. It's Toi Toi with 4 pin being dead, as we've seen before, and the other pair was what?
It was 1M.
1M is dead as well.
At least.
And it's 1 in Conor's hand as well. That's a draw. Exhausted draw. With 3-way Tempai, Tramy being the only one no-10. That's not gonna be a lot of points taken from her, but that's a start, I guess. So that's minus 3,000 for... Oh, wait. I was about to write minus 3,000 for Tramy. That is not what I should be doing. 85,500. Martin gets plus 1,000, so that's 28. Conor called Riichi, so that leaves him at 6,800. And Zhiyu minus 1,300 with 1 Homba, 1 deposit. And there it is. Zhiyu's deal turn continues. We're under the 10 minutes remaining mark.
I'm the other commentator. I'm known online as Sparrowhawk or Jokubas if you saw me at the previous Irish tournament.
It's actually the Irish Open 2025 winner. So that's a very prestigious commentator that we have here along with me. So it's a honor to have Jokubas here with us. Jokubas goes as Sparrowhawk in well, on Discord and elsewhere. But yeah, he's a very experienced player, very well versed in strategy and high level play. So it's great to have his insight, and he's got receipts now that he's won a tournament.
True, that's true.
All right, East for 1 Homba.
Dora is 9M.
9M. 9M. There we go.
His hand is a bit tough to work with, I think.
4, 5, 6 Sanshoku maybe for Conor. Although lots of Kanchan. It's a Kanchan festival, as some might call it.
Fortunately, everyone's hands seem to be fairly slow for the moment.
Martin looks to be somewhat okay with a maybe 7, 8, 9 Sanshoku IDs. He's got 7, 8, 9 man. He's got a Riam in the Sozo, I think, and it was like 7 pin. If I remember correctly.
We'll have to see in a second.
Yep, that's a good start. That's definitely a good start. Tramy also has what could be a pretty fast hand if she decides to open. It looks like 2 away from Tanyao. The Enchanten. Thank you so much for your kind words, Andrew. It's always a pleasure to be working with the Irish Federation. Oh, that's a good pull.
Break his Yankon immediately.
Yes.
And take the 5M Kanchan.
Yeah, that might be to confirm Sanshoku, but that's gonna be reducing the acceptance quite a bit, so we'll see if it works out for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might not even confirm Sanshoku actually, because he has a pair. His only pair is in the 4 pin. Yeah, he decides to not go for that.
It's backfired immediately.
Okay, so Martin has a pretty tricky draw now. He's drawn the Dora a second time. For the initial plan that we foresaw that was Sanshoku, it's not needed. However, there is maybe an auxiliary plan that might be a flush in the Manzu. It's a bit far-fetched, but it will be expensive. at the very least, because he, as a reminder, he's almost 60,000 points behind Tramy in the first place. Oh, Ishanten for Conor though. Penshan Diamen.
Yeah. Tramy also seems to be intent on going for Tanyo. She confirmed it with the 1M cuts.
Yes, she denied Ishanten in doing so. Another Manzu for Martin. Drops a 7 pin.
Yeah.
He might be seeing it. Oh, that's a great pull for Tramy as well. That's still Ishanten. But that's a pretty good Ishanten actually. If she drops 3 man, which she does not. But 7 man is also not too bad because it leaves the 3/6 man acceptance and 5 pin. Although her hand was starting a bit of a difficult to see way. Oh, that could be big for a Pinfu route here. Maybe even Sanshok if she pulls the 7 soul.
It's definitely an upgrade.
Yeah, it is. That's a much better Ishanten now. Martin still... Actually, could stop at Itsu, actually. I said Chinitsu or full flush, but that could stop at Itsu, and that would still be pretty expensive if and only if pairs up 9 man, but 9 man is already in Zhiyu's hand. So there are no 9 man left in the wall. Conor with a perfect Ishanten here. Includes the acceptance of 4 pin and 6 pin for Shampoo. Oh, Tenpai for Tramy. So she has to sort her hand in order to see it. Maybe she sees it without sorting her hand after all. There it is. Now it's clearly displayed. So if she drops the 2 man, it's Tenpai waiting on 5/8 so, and she goes Riichi. She wants to increase her lead as much as possible before the next few games, which is not a bad decision. And there it is, 7 so for Conor, which might lead to Sanshoku, but there is a Riichi on the table now. Tramy has Riichi Tanyao, which is 2,600s. And Conor breaks his hand entirely apart already. Well, not entirely, it could also lead to...
The weight was 5/8s, right?
Yes, it is 5/8, I think.
There
it is!
Also...
Ooh, that's tricky.
That's a rough one. Especially because Martin has one of the most expensive hands on the table at the moment with Dora Dora.
Yes. Oh, but actually Conor might not be done yet. He dropped the Yanmen. Oh, the Yanmen was 3-10 actually, by the way. I just noticed.
Yes.
So...
It's the backfire from earlier.
That is true. So now he's back with a Yanmen Sammenchan Shampoo. That is 2-sided, 3-sided, and double pair weight, which leaves a lot of doors to get Tenpai. That might actually be a fightable hand. No Dora and low value, but a good shape might be enough. And there it is, Tenpai. If he drops 6 pin, that's Pinfu. 5/8 pin weight. Will he call Riichi or stay Dama? Riichi!
This is still quite a big risk, considering there's very little time left, and he's very close to 4th place.
It is going to be risky.
It's a very brave Riichi.
It's a brave Riichi for sure. Now, he's in the tricky spot with his current scores. That is, he's not last, but he's only at 6,800. So in the total, it will show that he has gotten a pretty low 3rd place. So his goal may just be to try and mitigate that negative score as much as possible before the timer runs out, and that is only 2 minutes left on the timer, so we might not see more than 1 round after this one if this one doesn't end soon.
Yes. And on top of that, another goal might be to stop Tramy from winning more points even and expanding her lead.
Right. Zhiyu has 6-pin Genbutsu to defend against both the Riichi. As a reminder, Conor is waiting on 5/8 pin, Tramy is waiting on 5/8, so it's Riichi Pinfu versus Riichi Tanyo. So it's a tale as old as Mahjong itself. Tanyo versus Pinfu, which one will win? Hello Adriofer in the chat. How did Tramy get 85,500? So basically she won 2 Haneman back-to-back, pretty much, and on Sumo both. It was Riichi Tsumo Pinfu Ipeko Ura Ura, and Riichi Tsumo closed half flush, Onitsu, with Chun.
Yeah, one of the Hanemans was as dealer, and then there was also a dealer Mangon Sumo, I think. Or they might have been both Hanemon. I don't quite remember.
I don't quite remember as well, actually. The
Either
first,
way,
the first duel was
hands.
right. The first sumo was non-dealer. That was when Martin was still dealer, and oh, there it is. Conor takes the win with Riichi Pinfu. How many Ura? That could be big.
The 3 9 draws in a row after Riichi is quite
That
funny
is-
as well.
That is Ura, right? It was 8 pin he won on. So Riichi Pinfu Ura, 3,900 becomes 4,200 plus 1 Riichi stick. And 1 Honba as well. That already included. So that leaves Conor with plus 5,200? Well, that's gonna be 12,000 points on the dot.
Time is up as well, so we're going to be playing one last round.
Are we going to be playing? Oh, we are playing one last round. That's correct.
Yes. This is a pretty big swing for Conor. It kind of helps everyone at the table, except for maybe Zhiyu. To put Tramy closer to everyone else, score-wise.
Oh, actually, I got it mistaken. Conor is at 13,000 points because there was 1 deposit already. So that means the scores should be up to date now. We're in South 1. And Conor is still in 3rd with minus... Well... I was about to say the scores relative to 30k, but I think it's pretty confusing if I do that because the stream displays the scores in relative. So let's say 13,000 points for Conor. Martin in 2nd place with 28,000 points. Tramy in 1st with 80,300. And Zhiyu in last with minus 1,300 for now.
Zheyu's condition to get out of last is going to be pretty tough. He needs Haneman Sumo, unfortunately. Because it's a 14.3k differential between him and Conor.
Taking time because Trump has so many sticks. Yes, we can see that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of 5,000 sticks as I've seen. I believe that's how the depths have been paid. HUD is correct. That's good to know. That's very good to know. That means we are capable of keeping track of the scores well enough. And we're not confusing our audience. And so the last round of the first game begins now with Conor's dealer turn.
Okay. His high play is not terrible.
Dora
He has
is
1 complete Mensu. A couple of pairs. Dora is Haku.
Yep. Correct. So that's pretty... That could be a pretty dangerous Dora, but that will depend on if the Haku gets paired up and called soon enough. Tramy looks to have a pretty fast hand once again. The Enchanten 2 away from Tanyao. Zhiyu as well with pretty good shapes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in the Manzu, 3, 3, 3, 4 in the Sozu.
He does have one of the Dora. It might be one of his best shots at getting out of 4th.
And the Dora has been discarded right away by Conor. Maybe looking to defend his position in 3rd if he's not going to make it out of it. To make the round much safer, he decides to drop Dora right away. That would be my thinking.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Right.
Although he would be in range of Mangon Sumo to overtake for 2nd place.
That is true. That makes a 16,000 point differential. Even the 3,900 all would be enough. That makes a 15,600 point differential, and he's 15,000 points away from Martin. So that could be possible. However, he decides to go with the no Dora route. Well, there could be Dora if someone calls Khan, but for now, that's no Dora. Tramy E Shanten, 1 away already from Tempai, hoping to get a 3-man or 3-so, but she draws a 4-pin that complexifies the shape a little bit. Maybe 2-4-so or 2-man? Goes with 2-man. Interesting. Okay. So now she's waiting for a 3-4-pin or 3-so to get the immediate Tempai, but she gets a bunch of upgrades on the 2-5-pin and other tiles. 4-7-man could also be interesting.
Tramy can indeed afford to call here. She has a very significant lead as it is. Just ending the game quickly and ensuring other players don't score any large hands would be perfectly fine. Although with 2 of the Dora out currently, she may want to take this opportunity to be a bit more greedy as well.
That could be also true. Like you always have the as soon as the Dora are shown in Akanashi, the round becomes increasingly safer. The only thing you need to worry about is if the dealer has a strong Yaku-based hand, or if he wins, or if they win the gamble of calling Riichi and getting some Ura. But realistically, the danger of the round drops dramatically, even more so when it's a honor tile like that, like Haku or any other honor tile. Oh, that would improve the shape.
As soon as 2 are out, it becomes much harder to use.
Drops 2-so. Okay. Now she is hoping for... what was the 2-pair again? 3 and 4 pins. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5-pin and 4-man to get Tempai. Conor Tempai Pinfu Nomi 1-4-pin doesn't call Riichi. So he's not gambling to get either Ippatsu 1 Ura or Tsumo Ura Ura. That would be quite unlikely, but it could happen.
I think his intent was fairly clear from the very decisive Haku cut.
Absolutely. He wants to defend his position and does not want to worsen the situation anymore. So he's going with a safe Dama that is hidden Tempai. If he manages to get Tsumo here, that would be 700 from all, which would bring him up to minus 19.9, which would at least be above the minus 20 mark. And Zhiyu paired up the Dora, but it's dead. There are no more Dora now in the game, I believe.
Yes, it was cut pretty early on by Tramy as well, I believe.
Yes, turn 5, it seems. There are still ways to use it. He's with a pretty strong E-Shanten, like it's Dianmen, and or Shampoo on on 8-so. Oh, Tsumo, there it is. And that's it. Tsumo Pinfu, 700s from each, which brings Conor to 15,100, which will be just enough to bring him above minus 20. So I'm going to display the scores here. So that's 27,300, 79,600 for Tramy, and minus 2,000 on the dot for Zhiyu. So the scores are here. Those are the final scores after Hanshan 1. So in first place for Hanshan 1, we have Tramy at plus 64.6. Second place, Martin at plus 2.3. Third place, Conor with minus 19.9. And last place, Zhiyu with minus 47 for now. So there it is. That's the end of Hanshan 1.
We have a question in chat about whether or not we would have Riichi'd.
That is an interesting question, actually.
Personally, I would have. I'd be happy to take any chance.
Yes.
Going for a placement upgrade. That includes keeping the Haku for a bit longer, even if it's slightly risky. I think, considering there are only 4 games, and one player already has such a huge lead, you need to take some risks to make it easier later on.
Well, not only that, but even if you miss second place, because to get second with that kind of hand, you would need, like I described earlier, either Ipatsu Tsumo and 1 Ura, or Tsumo and 2 Ura. However, if you get Tsumo and 1 Ura, it's still Riichi Tsumo Pinfu 1 Ura, which is 2600s each, which would lead to an upgrade in points compared to what we saw here. That's approximately plus 5.5, plus 5.7 if I'm exact, which is half a placement. And in such a small UMA rule set, I believe it's important to take as many points as possible. And like you mentioned, it's a 4 Hanshan match, which means any point is going to be to go a long way in the long run. So I would have definitely called Riichi instantly. I didn't know how many tiles were out. I believe 2 1-pin were out. But I think with such a clear Pinfu hand, 1 Ura is tremendous in terms of like value upgrades. And that's enough of an agreement to go Riichi even with 3 out of 8 tiles out. Starting from 4 tiles out, I would start to think about Dama. And try to maintain a position, because once again, I don't know what last place will have. It is to be said though that 2 Dora out in Akanashi rule sets will make the round much safer even for myself to push if I'm in Conor's position. So I'm thinking maybe it's possible that last place doesn't have what it takes to overtake me. As it turns out, the last 2 Dora were indeed in Zhiyu's hand, so it would have been possible for Zhiyu to chase and make a situation like very dangerous for me, or for Conor that is. But I believe it's worth it in the long run.
Zhiyu was also in a pretty tough position. Even with the Dora, Mangan Tsumo was not enough to overtake. He needed a direct hit or Ura or Haneman.
I believe so. With the Riichi stick, 5,200 might be enough. Wait, was it enough? What were the scores? Oh, I believe it's not actually. It's not.
I think it was around 13 point something.
So it's difference. Not. It would be 12-4 with the Riichi stick. So that's it. It would require either some Fu bump or some Ura luck. I believe.
Yes.
Yep. It's EMA 2016. So as some, like I mentioned it before the Hanshan started, or rather around the first round of the Hanshan, but there will be a new revision of the EMA rules in 2026. That's going to be EMA 2025. It's basically finalized, but it's not published yet on the official website, I believe. But it will come in effect starting from January 1st, 2026. So you might want to be on the lookout for any change in rules to not get caught off guard. As a notable rule update, I've been told that there will be Roundup Mangan, which is significant, not a significant change in gameplay, but a significant change in the everyday games, because you see 7-7 and 11-6 all the time in those games. So it's important to take note of those changes. There are other changes, but I won't mention them just yet because they're not published yet. So just be on the lookout for that once it's published for real.